Welcome to the Billy and Joe Top 10 show. I am Billy. He is.
Hi, I'm Joe. Good to see you. And like the Beastie Boys say, let's get it together.
Last stop till Brooklyn.
No sleep till Brooklyn.
No sleep till Brooklyn. I'm still getting under your radar just a little bit on this this rap stuff or this you understand what I mean. So
Yes.
Joe Carney is the host of Indy's Local Flavor. Just type in Indy's Local Flavor, subscribe to his channel on iTunes, and also please go to Keeping the Nostalgia Alive show. And this is probably where you're watching it with Billy and the Joe Top 10 show. We normally do supposedly the top 10, but today we're going to do the top 21. But before we get to that, I'm going to ask Joe about what's going on and what's happening with his podcast and stuff like that. And I have seen several tweets, several things on social media that has me looking stuff up, like Andrew Luck is coming back. So, Joe, I'm going to spin it to you.
General Luck has been dismissed. He's not coming back. That was his code name on Twitter, General Luck. So he's not coming back for the Colts, as much as the Colts fan would like that right now. The reason why I did the Beastie Boys reference, get it together with Q-Tip, today would have been Adam Yonk, MCA's birthday today. So that's why I decided to do that. Football news. Hall of Fame inductees, Peyton Manning, the Sheriff, Edgerrin James, the Edge is getting in. Coach Tom Flores is getting in. Charles Woodson is getting in. Also, Raiders super friends, Raiders super fan, and my personal friend Wayne Mabry, the Violator, is getting in for being a super fan. He got his blue jacket today. In the Hall of Fame game, thank goodness it's preseason, because it was ugly. Steelers beat the Cowboys 16-3, and I tried to watch that game, and I gave up because no Roethlisberger and no Dak. So I'm like, I'm not watching. Sorry, I don't care about the other guys. So also, Pacer fans, I know it was the darkest time for the franchise. However, fascinating series getting ready to come out. Netflix documentary, The Malice in the Palace. Where Were You, Billy? It's coming out here on Tuesday, August 10th. And I remember that day. I remember where I was. I remember everything that happened that day in total detail. So
the Indiana Pacers jacked up their only chance to win the NBA World Championship. And I am angry with the Indiana Pacers. Been around since 1967, 3 ABA titles.
Yeah.
No, I won't forgive. I'll forget, but I'm just not going to forgive, and I'm going to move along. Somebody asked me the other day, when you talk about NFL news, they asked, well, what do you think about the Colts and the quarterback situation?
Yeah.
Thank God they won a Super Bowl while I was alive. That's all I got to say. That may be on my headstone. Thank goodness they won a Super Bowl while I was alive. The Pacers, weak down.
Yeah. Write it down here, Billy. Philip Rivers is thinking about coming back. He says he's not in shape yet. But I believe, because they have 3 quarterbacks, write it down, Nick Foles is the Colts quarterback week 1.
It takes 4 quarterbacks to make $1.
Quite.
I'm sorry. I am so disillusioned with the Pacers and the Colts. So I'm just going to end it there.
Did you hear about the Buffalo Bills news?
What'd they do? Change their zip code to 040?
They're moving to Austin, Texas, bro. which I don't, I mean, I get it. There's more money in Texas. I get all that, but that doesn't make the Austin Bills. It doesn't make nah. So
Well, everything's bigger in Texas, bro.
and
And don't worry, they'll lose another Super Bowl in Texas.
quite.
What are they going to do?
Quite.
Have Deshaun Watson at quarterback or what?
Who knows? If you're interested in watching streaming media, and you have Apple TV, which I bought exclusively for the Beastie Boys documentary, and there's also another documentary that's pretty good. It's called Watching the Music with Mark Ronson. Are you familiar with Mark Ronson, Billy?
No, please inform me.
He did Uptown Funk for Bruno Mars, but he really got his start with Amy Winehouse. So he's a fantastic producer, and they're doing, with every episode they do a topic, and the last topic was reverb, and they talked about a person that I didn't know at all, and her name was Delia Debshire. She was a musician and reverb composer, and she grew up in World War II, and she fell in love with this sound of the air raid siren. So she would, with her oscillator, she would make reverb music based off of that. And her big hit was she co-wrote the Doctor Who theme. So if you have Apple TV, it's a pretty fascinating series. And also, if you need some comedy in your life, Larry David's Curb Your Enthusiasm, he was cheating at his father's bingo games, and it was hilarious.
I have nothing to say. I hope they're Doctor Who fans, and I hope they're what guy did you just say?
What's that?
David Christopher. Who'd you just say?
Larry David.
Larry David, from Seinfeld, writing fame,
yes,
and from his own show that I've never seen an episode of. Don't judge me.
It's you have to have HBO Max, but it's funny. It's really funny.
Yeah, but he's an idiot.
He's a complete narcissist. Yes.
Yeah, and also it's like what was my wife talking about the other day? Actually, by the way, happy birthday to my wife. She turned 59 today, but she's not going to watch this show. So she's, I told her about estimations and my math learning when I was a kid. And I said, well, you're actually 60, but she's not going to watch this show. So it's all going to be good. It was like Jimmy Fallon. She goes, I said, I miss Jimmy Fallon. I miss the Tonight Show because all these Olymp duds. I mean, Olympics. And and she said, you know what? Every once in a while, he's entertaining, but most of the time he's an idiot. So welcome to that, Jimmy Fallon. and I just want to let everybody know that this lady who won the bronze and now has the most Olympic medals all time, her last name is Felix.
Huh?
Her last name is Felix, Felix.
You talking about the gymnast?
No, I'm talking about the lady who just raced in the 400 meter today.
Okay, I haven't been watching.
Well, her last name is Felix, and her husband had a shirt with a cat on it. And for all those old fogies, and all for you young fogies, Felix the cat was one of the first, cartoons or comics in the newspaper that no one will be going, who's Felix the cat? What the hell? So Joe, thank you very much for joining us. Joe Carney from Indy's Local Flavor. We are going to do today the top 10. It's never the top 10. It's the top 21 or top 20 plus one soundtracks of all time. And Joe, unless you got anything else, after you have anything else, please start us out.
You almost sound like Father Guido Sarducci there for a minute. But he didn't. So.
Man, I quit smoking about 4 months ago. Yeah, Father Guido Sarducci. He always reminded me of one of the singers in Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship,
Right.
whatever you want to call it. Father Guido
Okay.
Sarducci.
Yes, right. Number 21, Hello Again, Hello, jazz singer Neil Diamond.
Oh, did I have an America on that?
We're Coming to America. Yes, it did.
Wow, Neil Diamond. One of those guys who can fart on an album and it would sell 1 million copies.
Did you hear the quote about his divorce?
He had to give her diamonds. What? No, I didn't.
No, he didn't have a prenup.
Ay.
So his quote was, "It was the best $100 million he ever spent."
He should have chatted with Paul McCartney.
Quite.
So very interesting. Great pick. Someone told me that I may be leaning toward the other side if I watch the jazz singer or, watch that. So let me move on to my number 21, which is the soundtrack to Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I don't have that. That's a great pick.
Twist and Shout.
Yeah.
The Beatles were entering into the top 40. March of the Swivelheads by English Beat.
Yeah.
And then of course Yellow's Out. Chicka chicka.
Right. Sure, of course.
If I could have that album, if I could have that CD or cassette, I'd have it in the back of me showing off because I really love that soundtrack.
Yeah, good pick. My number 20, John Cusack. I'm a huge Stevie Wonder guy. And in the end credits, they play this song, I Believe by Stevie Wonder. And I was like blown away. John Cusack's High Fidelity, the soundtrack about where he runs a music store, and Jack Black is a complete a music snob, and how they go back and forth on good music every day.
No pun intended, but I didn't see that one coming. Have you watched MTV Cribs?
I used to.
Yeah. Have you seen the one with Stevie Wonder?
No, I have not.
Neither is he.
That was too easy, Billy. Sorry.
Yes, it was. You
like
walked right in. You walked into that one.
Yeah, like a 5.
Yeah, they're awesome. I thought you were going to say something about the song In Your Eyes being on one of the soundtracks of the movies from the 80s.
Yeah.
But John Cusack, now, if you listen closely, the voice of Chevy or General Motors.
Yeah, he's doing voiceovers. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so coming in at number 20 is the Breakfast Club soundtrack. There was nothing more than putting that in my Walkman. Look that up, people.
Right.
Or having it on a Maxell high bias or high whatever audio mixtape. Wang Chung on it. The girl who played Chucky's voice in Rugrats is on it. Great song called Waiting. Living in the Twilight by Wang Chung. Everybody Wang Chung tonight. Right. And of course, Don't You Forget About Me. And someone look that up because I'm not going to say their name because we're not getting any money.
Simple Minds.
So. Boom. And basically, to be honest with you, that was the only hit from Simple Minds.
Right. Exactly.
Alive and Kicking. I think that was that's where In Excess got there. But that's just my opinion. And opinions are like buttholes. Everybody has one.
Yes, they do. So my next pick is I Am the Man. Coen Brothers, oh brother, where art thou, with George Clooney.
Of Constant Sorrow.
Yeah. The Saggy Bottom Boys.
Saggy Bottom Boys, George Clooney, John Turturro, and some other short guy who's been in a lot of movies, but I really don't know his name, but he's probably counting his cash right now, so I really don't need to know it.
Right. Yeah.
So here's something for you guys to look up. The soundtrack to the movie Vision Quest.
Madonna.
You can do what you want to do. Sammy Hagar.
Yeah.
Madonna. I was just actually talking to my wife the other day, and there's a lot of people who do a lot of things to keep their name out there, like Cher.
Oh, yeah.
You like Cher. Very cool. The Rolling Stones. Very cool. Madonna, very cool, but she hasn't really kept her name in the news for about the past 10 years, or kept herself up to date, or, this is what it's supposed to be, or to keep Madonna fresh or on the top of your mind.
Yeah.
So, but a Vision Quest, great soundtrack. I think there was a John Waite song on there also. I had it on vinyl. People look it up. It's not something that's made with a chair.
My next pick, controversial movie, put Burt Reynolds back on the map. Mark Wahlberg was in the movie, Heather Graham's debut movie. However, the soundtrack was disco, hardcore disco kids, Boogie Nights.
Motoring.
Oh,
What's your time for flight?
right, Sister Christian.
You got me, Mr. Rice. That's probably wrong, but Night Ranger. If you would have told me that you were going to talk about the Boogie Nights soundtrack, I would have just sat here in my robe.
No, the audience doesn't want that.
No, but I could just be sitting in it. I could just be sitting in it. But good movie. I was thinking of Burt Reynolds the other day, and it's sad that we have to get old and move along, and people die, and you have to keep the nostalgia alive, or the memories alive. There's a lot of times where, you could say something. Oh, Burt Reynolds was in that, or Burt Reynolds was in a Gunsmoke. Who's Burt Reynolds? What's Gunsmoke?
Or The Longest Yard.
Yeah. So, it's or you watch little clips from Johnny Carson. People are going, who's Johnny Carson? With Don Rickles and Burt Reynolds. And, ha, 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 ha. I think that was Burt Reynolds' laugh, but it's kind of sad.
Did I tell you the interview with Sally Field and Johnny Carson, when Sally Field was on there?
No.
Did we talk about that at all?
I think we probably did, but I'm not a fan of Sally Field.
So you don't want to talk about it?
No. Go ahead, Forrest.
She goes on Carson, right? And she comes out and says, everybody thinks she's the Gidget girl and everything, whatever.
Flying nun,
whatever. And she comes out and says, well, me and Bert are lovers. And Bert gave me some advice for coming on your show. So she walks around John. Okay, so in the Carson show, everybody sits to the right of Johnny. She walks around Johnny's desk and puts shaving cream in his ear. And, it basically becomes a shaving cream war, and Johnny puts shaving cream down her shirt, and that was kind of like the final straw. So
I loved how Johnny would smoke his cigarettes
right.
on TV.
Yeah.
So
right.
Wild and wacky stuff. That's wild.
Right.
Yes, you're correct, sir.
Yes, sir.
With Ed McMahon on the side, but keeping the nostalgia alive is my slogan. And And man, a lot of people are going to be like, who in the world is the stuff that Billy and Joe, the Top 10 show, are talking about? So coming in at number 18, hated it, owned it. Got to say it was a good soundtrack to Dirty Dancing. Calm down, bro. You're just really not excited about that because I haven't heard anything. Don't be mad at me, man. I'm trying to get those people who watched Jennifer Grey before she got the no job, and rest in peace, Patrick Swayze, and I'm not getting paid by Aquafina.
That nose job was dreadful.
Well,
I mean, she looks okay.
Wolverines.
Yeah, she looks okay, but it changed her total face, and her nose wasn't that big. It's not like she had a honker, because she didn't. So I'm like,
nobody backs baby in the corner.
Right. I appreciate your pick. I just not a fan of the movie, so I'm like,
neither am I, but I think I got it for a penny from Columbia Club.
Ooh.
Yeah, or on a cassette or CD, or I got it for a girlfriend or a future wife that I'm not associated with anymore and wasted so much time with. And if you only, if only I knew now what I did know then, I wouldn't have done that. But let's continue on.
Yes, sir. Because of this soundtrack in this movie, I did not do this athletic activity for 2 years when I was a kid. I love the composer John Williams with Jaws. So yeah, did not swim for 2 years because of that movie. And I didn't even see the movie.
There was a great documentary, and I think it's on either Hulu or Netflix, and we're not getting paid by either one.
Right.
So man, I can't remember the lady's name, but they talk about their input, her and her husband's input, and the husband has passed away, on the movie Jaws, from Peter Benchley and from, of course, Steven Spielberg, which I think that was just his second movie. But I totally agree with that. Even swimming in a lake or a pool.
Right. Yeah.
We came up with the idea that, crap, there may be a shark in here.
And Saturday Night Live was perfect when they had the Jaws coming out of the toilet. It was hilarious. Hilarious. So.
Plumber.
Right.
Okay, so don't get mad at me. This is why. Nay. So hold on a second. Any soundtrack from spaghetti westerns, the good, the bad, the ugly, a fistful of dollars, a few dollars more.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood, Planes, something Drifter. Any of those
planes,
high planes Drifter. Yes. Yep. Any of those soundtracks were just something that were like, wow. Or my dad would get a tape recorder. That was something that we used. They were like this and that. And we had an Argo speaker hooked up to our Zenith 19-inch TV, and any any soundtrack from a spaghetti western, especially the good and bad and the ugly. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, right. My number 16, I was surprised it wasn't on any of the internet list. I was really surprised. But I had to throw this in there because I really, really, really love the Kings singing part in this, the Hamilton soundtrack. So
haven't seen it, been told it is absolutely fabulous, but I will say what I said with you can look up our interview on the Keeping the Nostalgia Live show with Paul Page, and I said this at the end of his show because I have the White House right here, and he asked if it was Legos, and I said no, it's like a cardboard paper puzzle that you put together, and on the bottom you have a blue, red or a alternating blue or red color for whatever is in the White House. And I told Paul Page, I said, I'm not going to alienate by having a color on my White House behind me. I'm not going to alienate 50% of my audience by telling them I'm a Democrat or a Republican. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. Right. Just like we said earlier, they're like buttholes. Everybody's got one. Everybody's got a mouth. Everybody's got a brain. But I do appreciate. What's his name?
Hamilton?
No, the guy who did it.
Noriega.
Who was the guy? Manuel Noriega?
Right. Yeah. No, but it's Manuel Lynn something.
Okay. Yeah. I think Noriega was like Central America coup, some kind of crap like that. So that's a great soundtrack. I haven't watched it yet. I am going to watch it, and maybe I'll have a different opinion.
It's 4 hours, so if you break it up 2 hours one day and 2 hours the next day, then you're fine. But there is an intermission. So it's I'm not a musical guy, but what was the one with Hugh Jackman?
About the circus?
Yeah, I love that one, and Hamilton's better than that.
Well, I'm gonna have to give it a try. Don't be mad at me, people. I just he's on the $10 bill. Can you tell me the only only presidents who are on actual paper money?
The only presidents who are actually none.
Well, there was Thomas Jefferson, who was on the $2 bill. There's George Washington, who was on the $1 bill. There's Abraham Lincoln, who was on the $5 bill. The $20 bill is Andrew Jackson. The $50 bill is Grant.
U.S. Grant. Yep.
Yeah, and the $100 bill wasn't a president, but he was
ambassador to France.
The only person on paper money who's smiling because he was never president, that was Benjamin Franklin. And of course, on the $10 bill, we have
a car. Hamilton.
So a great choice, Joe. I'm going to have to take a look at look that up. So my number 17 is A Hard Day's Night by the Beatles.
I've got that a little higher. Good pick.
And I'm glad that you chose that because, a lot of people are like, that's not a soundtrack. Well, yeah, it is.
Right.
And great McCartney 3-2-1 on Hulu with Rick Rubin, who doesn't wear any shoes and wears his hair down to the back of his back, but he can do what he wants to do because he's, produced.
He's an artist.
He's an artist. Yes. It's like cutting my ear off and being Vincent Van Gogh, but you're not going to be popular until you get really older. All right. Sorry about that, Joe.
That's a Beastie Boys line. Vincent Van Gogh called "Cut That Hair." Yeah. My number 15 is what you talked about, A Hard Day's Night by the Beatles. So
wow. Now, no one will tell you that they've bought it.
Right.
And they have it in their collection via vinyl, CD, cassette, or even streaming. And that's Saturday Night Fever.
Did we talk about that last week? The people who covered the Bee Gees?
And aren't we down to just one Bee Gee? So does when they get introduced, do they go, the Bee Gee?
Right.
It's like if Ringo or Paul go first, it's just going to be, ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Ringo won't acknowledge the Beatles. He won't sign any Beatles memorabilia at all anymore. So he says he's done with that.
But richer than crap.
Right.
And the dumbest trailer I've ever seen all time was The Caveman.
Right. Excuse me.
Oh, that's okay. You got a mask?
Yeah, in my car. Yes. Yeah. Yes. My next pick there's a lot of hip hop soundtracks out there, but I don't consider them um I don't I don't consider most of them outstanding, but there are a couple that I have on my list, and this one is was definitely a game changer. Spike Lee's "Do the Right Thing."
Man, I thought you were coming out with Crush Groove.
I almost put that on my list, but I didn't. Almost.
All right. That's why, like I said, we have opinions, and this is the Billy and Joe Top 10 show. And once again, we are with Joe Carney from Indies Local Flavor. So I go from Saturday Night Fever to something that you used to do to ball joints in your car. And people are like, ball joints. What do you do to a ball joints in your car? And that is the soundtrack, which I have never seen the movie from beginning to end, which is the soundtrack from Grease.
Okay.
And Joe, you're not the one that I want.
Good. Good.
Electrifying. That's what we would be. Hypnomatic. Hydromatic.
I used to sing a Go Grease Lightning with my friends in elementary school with that song.
Lee, Joe, you're showing my age, bro. Stop. Stop. Cállate de boca. That is my Espanol for the show.
So I had to do an editing change because I actually put down the same soundtracks in 2 spots. So my number 13 is my favorite John Williams, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Do, 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 do. So, oh man, that sparked so much. Richard Dreyfuss, great.
Yeah.
So I have a number. What am I on? Number 13?
Correct.
E.T.
Oh, I didn't have that. That's a good movie as well.
Yeah.
My number 12. I love these singers. Fantastic movie with Joanne Woodward and I'm gonna draw a blank on this guy's name. The Graduate.
Oh, Mrs. Robinson by Simon and Garfunkel.
Yep, fantastic soundtrack.
So don't be mad at me. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 9 movies.
Yeah.
And from 12 all the way up until 5, I have Star Wars movies. John Williams.
No, I'm okay with that. I've got him. I've got them coming up. So Indiana Jones,
Jaws,
yeah,
Star Wars. Any movie that has really made an impact on filmmaking or movies has a soundtrack by John Williams.
Right. Exactly. Yep. And he's doing a tour, believe it or not, but it's not coming here, but he's doing a tour. He's a genius, musical genius.
And a very rich man.
Oh yeah. Yep. The University of Wisconsin plays his music all the time.
I wonder how that works, by the way. I wonder what kind of residual check you get, or what kind of check you get, when you have a song like that. And it's anthem rock, which they play. There's a lot of stuff that they play during baseball, football, basketball games, right. and it's very interesting. So don't really get mad until I come into number 4. You can do your list all the way up until number 4, But John Williams is a great artist. He's a great soundtrack person for all of my Keeping the Nostalgia Alive shows or my younger days.
Yeah, he's my number one composer. Excuse me. When I think of him, when I think of two people when it comes to classical music, he's number one.
Who's number two?
Isadore Freeling is my number two.
Is that the girl that sings "Let It Go" from Frozen?
No. Isadore Freeling.
I'm just having some fun, man.
Yes, I know. Isadore Freeling. You know Isadore Freeling. Yeah, he was the composer for Looney Tunes. So yeah, that's my number two.
And that's what we should call the show, but we're not getting paid for it, nor can we use it because of copyright.
Correct. My number 11, the worldwide phenomenon, Black Panther soundtrack.
Hamilton, I got to write down. And the Black Panther. Is that? Oh no, that's Freddie Mercury, or that's Daylight Comes and You Wanna Go Home. I'll have to check that out. So I apologize for not having that on my list or even doing it. That's why we have the Billy and Joe Top 10 show. And plus, hopefully, maybe you guys are checking out new music and listening to our show on the Keeping the Nostalgia Live show on YouTube and the Billy and Joe Top 10 show on Facebook. Please subscribe, like, follow, whatever it's called today.
Well, with the Black Panther soundtrack, if you're a fan of Kendrick Lamar, you'll love it. If you're not a fan of Kendrick Lamar, you won't.
Did he play in the NBA for the Celtics?
No.
Kendrick Perkins? Was that Kendrick Perkins?
Kendrick Perkins played for the Celtics, correct?
And Kendrick Lamar, Kendrick Perkins. Sorry.
Minor details.
Yeah, I'm going to get in trouble for that. I've told you about all my Star Wars picks, but I do have to toss in before you get to your next one. 007 James Bond soundtracks are also within my list.
Sure.
Up until I get numbered 4. View to a Kill, number 1 song by Duran Duran. Vinyl. Tom Jones did a 007 song. Aha did a 007 song. Tina Turner did a 007 song. Of course, some aren't as popular as others. Live and Let Die. Once again, we're not getting paid by Hulu, but McCartney 3-2-1. Great song. I even have my wife going, Live and Let Die. Paul McCartney didn't do that. Beatles didn't do that. Paul McCartney had nothing to do with that. I go, yes, he did.
Right. Yep, exactly.
So, but just that do 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 do.
Right. Did you do your number 11?
Well, you got to remember my 11 up until number 4 are Star Wars and James Bond.
Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, please.
Okay. We talked about this a little bit. Number 10 for me is Help. Need somebody. Help. Yeah, the Beatles. Number 10.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles. And a lot of people just don't know about soundtracks or movies that they've done because, the Beatles have been remembered by those that are older, introduced to those that are younger, and unknown to a lot of others.
Another thing that re-energized the Beatles, which I'm sure you've heard, was the Love musical, the Vegas musical. And that's a fascinating fascinating version of the Beatles. I didn't get a chance to see it, but soundtrack's amazing for that.
I think Jeffrey Lynn did a lot of stuff on there from ELO, a lot of producing and editing and stuff like that. But yes, I think it was actually even a Cirque du Soleil show there at Treasure Island in Las Vegas. Once now, we're not getting paid for any of that kind of promo.
Right.
But yes, very cool. You can just go so many places with the Beatles, or with Paul McCartney, or with George Harrison, or with John Lennon. And I'm not going to say the other one because, you know, he's upset because he was a Beatle.
Right. And they're reissuing All Things Must Pass by George Harrison, and that album is amazing. So
man, there's a show and a story within all of that with Eric Clapton, Rod Stewart, and George Harrison about wives.
Right.
Man.
My number 9, my favorite Bond movie, Roger Moore. He crawls across a bunch of crocodiles to get away. It's covered by Guns N' Roses. It's Live and Let Die by McCartney and Wings.
Yes. There was also, you know, helping out and things that are just coming to mind as we're doing the show. My mom would go, where are you going? I said, I'm going to go see a movie with my good friend, Paul. Yeah. And my mom was very, 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 very religious and very, very, you know, some places you just don't go. It's like, what's this album? I go, this is Kiss, and that's Knights in Satan's Service. So she said, where are you and Paul going? I said, we're going to see a movie. She goes, I need to know the movie. I said, Mom, it's PG. She goes, well, I need to still know what movie you're going to go see. And I said, all right, you asked for it, Octopussy. And she goes, what? I said, Octopussy.
Right. Yeah.
And she's like, grabs the newspaper that we get, the Indianapolis News or Indianapolis Star, and wants to know if that's an actual legit movie. Rita Coolidge, All Time High. Rita Coolidge, Carly Simon, that same category, but Octopussy.
That's the Bond movie I saw the most because I had HBO at that time, and they played that over and over, and me and my brother would watch it every time. So I've probably seen that like 5 to 7 times easy.
And you know, kind of making up for some of the picks I don't have because I have Star Wars within there is I'm sorry, Sean Connery is not in my list. I love Roger Moore. I told my mom one time we were watching Remington Steele. I said, you know, Pierce Brosnan needs to be James Bond. And she's like, you know what? I agree with you a little bit. And, you know, just because he was with Remington Steele and had a contractual agreement, you know, he wasn't chosen until later. But James Bond music, Ian Fleming, fantastic, outstanding job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I used to have a CD with all his songs on it, all the Bond songs. So, yeah, that was fascinating. My number 8, another John Williams special, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, any of those, fantastic and awesome.
And I love The Last Crusade with Sean Connery. Love that movie.
Did he call him Dad? What did Harrison Ford call him? Pops?
Dad.
Okay.
And you know, he always called him Junior.
And yes, there we go. And you know, what does Harrison Ford owe George Lucas?
Everything.
There is a couple movies where you're like, what in the hell were you thinking, Harrison Ford? There's a couple of airplanes you're like, why did you fly an airplane and crash? Why did you do a movie with Anne Heche? You know, so you know, all of those, you know, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and Raiders of the Lost Ark and all those kind of stuff. Just John Williams, once again, just making that cash.
Get off my plane. That's Harrison Ford. Yes.
And movies we'd go and stand in line to watch. The Fugitive, just the movie that you just said. I guess though that with the good, you're gonna have some bad. It's just like there's some songs that suck butt from the Beatles, but most of their songs don't suck butt.
Correct. Yeah. My number 7 is another John Williams special, which I'm surprised you didn't pick up on. Superman.
Do 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 do.
Yeah.
Man, what a thing to watch on TV as a kid. I'm a little bit older than you are, but John Williams, once again, just a freaking genius.
Oh, yeah. So I have one more John Williams song coming up, but everything else is not. My number 6, instant classic with Jungle put Kool and the Gang back on the map with Jungle Boogie, Pulp Fiction.
Oh yes, Dick Dale.
Yeah,
I think was on there. Dusty Springfield was on there.
Yeah,
Son of a Preacher Man. Yeah, and the great thing was either in vinyl or either in a CD or cassette. In between songs, they would have, you know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France. They would have quotes from the song, from the movie.
Yeah, Royale
yes. With cheese. Yeah. Or Samuel L. Jackson going, man, I don't dig pork.
Right. Or his quote from Ezekiel. Vengeance comes from the Lord.
Goodbye. And if you look closely, I can count flowers on the wall from the Statler Brothers. There was a lot of music.
Right.
Man, that is fantastic. Fantastic soundtrack, man. Fantastic. Quarantino, great mind, great musical mind, great nostalgic and lover of music.
Oh yeah, definitely. My number 2 is a personal favorite. Hunger Games 2, the song Atlas by Coldplay, which was the end credits for that movie.
And what number was that?
5.
I'm not a Coldplay fan. Overrated. Overrated. Just my opinion. Just my opinion.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, opinions are like, an anus. Everybody has one.
Quite. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Technical medical term. Yes.
Yes.
Fine.
So that's just my opinion. I'm not a Coldplay fan, but everybody look it up. I'm assuming great pick. And if you have a comment or whatever, just put it in our section on either YouTube or on Facebook.
It's a love song. My number 4, the Foo Fighters just recently covered them on their new album. It's the Bee Gees, Saturday Night Fever.
Ah, very cool. I'm glad that you have that on your list, and I'm glad that you didn't have to go to the next one, which is Staying Alive. So that's right. That's what I was kind of doing between my picks and of course my top 4. But just a fabulous soundtrack. And the Bee Gees, if you haven't listened to the collection, and we're not getting paid by the Bee Gees, Spotify, iTunes, or whatever platform you listen to, Amazon Music or whatever, you have to check out their catalog and you'll be like, oh man, they sang that.
I'll tell you who does. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but Al Green covers More Than a Woman, and it's at least as good as the original. At least. It's fascinating. So
Barry, Robin, Andy was a brother, but he passed away.
Yeah.
What's the one that I'm missing? Andy, oh, Robin, Barry.
Barry, Robin, and
Have you ever seen Jimmy Fallon do? I'm Barry Gibb.
yeah.
But once again, my wife says he's entertaining at times, but most of the time he's an idiot. Jimmy Fallon, please comment at the Billy and Joe Top 10 show. So am I going with number 4?
Yep, you're for number 4.
I went to Castleton Square number 1 to watch this movie. I went out after spending $5 or $6 or $10 plus popcorn and all that crap.
Yeah.
My first wife that I'm not together with anymore. And what a waste of time and money that situation was for 8 years.
Yes.
The Batman soundtrack with Prince.
That's a fantastic soundtrack. Now, do you know the trivia why he got picked for that soundtrack?
I think I read it, but I don't remember it.
Jack Nicholson and his BMW pulled on the lot playing 1999, and he told Tim Burton Prince needs to do the soundtrack to Batman. So that's how that came about. And that's a great album. That's a very underrated Prince album.
Bat dance. Vicky Vale. I'm Vicky Vale. I'm Vicky Vale.
Right. Yeah.
And most of the stuff from Prince just fabulous, you know. I'm not done with Prince, by the way.
Yeah, neither am I.
All right, man.
My
Next.
number 3 is I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, I'm the pusher in the alley. I'm your pusher, man. Superfly, Curtis Blow. Excuse me, Steve. Excuse me. Check that. Superfly, Curtis Mayfield. I apologize. Not Curtis Blow.
Yeah.
Curtis Mayfield.
And everybody, he said Curtis Blow because there's a bunch of basketball. We're talking basketball in the background. So I apologize for mesmerizing Joe and have him come up with Curtis Blow rather than Curtis Mayfield. So that's awesome, man. Have you seen the man, I can't name you the name of the show, but Black Harlem Renaissance on Hulu? The Black Harlem Artist Show. It was held in New York at the same time that man, I'm going to get slapped around for this one, that Woodstock was being held, and you know, there was just, you know, Mahalia Jackson, Gladys Knight and the Pips, you know, there was a lot of, it was a great documentary, great footage.
It was the Summer Soul Festival 1969 in Harlem. Fantastic film by Questlove of the Roots, who put that together. That film was sitting in a basement for 50 years, and it's on Hulu. And if you like Gladys Knight or Sly and the Family Stone or B.B. King or Nina Simone or A Fifth Dimension, it's a must-see, period.
Let the sun shine.
Right.
Age of Aquarius, 40-year-old virgin. K Barbadi as in like in Spanish, that which means K horrible. But great footage.
Yeah.
For as old as it was.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it made me want to, you know, because I think Woodstock was in 69.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to watch that because I was born in 67. I think you were born in 89. Oh, no.
I was senior in high school in 89, bro.
Oh, man. 72?
70.
Hey, 70, 71, 72. You know, Rod Stewart, Elton John, Paul McCartney, you know, same thing.
Yeah.
But a great thing to watch on Hulu. Hulu is fantastic for, you know, once again, we're not getting paid, so I'm not going to go all into that. Okay. So number 3, if you bought this, it was a double CD.
Yeah.
And if you bought this, man, you'd put it in your carousel of your multi-disc CD player. You would put it in your car. You may even bought it on cassette. You may even bought it on crap. You may even bought it on album.
Yeah.
And that is the Forrest Gump soundtrack.
Great soundtrack, great movie, great soundtrack.
CCR, Bob Seger,
Yeah.
golly, the list goes on. Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
The list
Yeah.
goes on, and it's just there'll be songs on, you'd be like, It Keeps Me Running by the Doobie Brothers.
Love that song. Yeah.
So, and I mess with people going, oh, you know what that song's from? They're like, no. I said, Forrest Gump. They're like, don't remember it, so, it's look up the Forrest Gump soundtrack and you guys will appreciate it. Robert Zemeckis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, put Tom Hanks at another level. A bunch of stars in that, but put Tom Hanks at another level with that movie.
It sure as hell wasn't Bosom Buddies.
Yeah.
Or The Man with One Red Shoe.
No, or Turner
Or
and
Joe
Hooch.
versus Volcano.
Turner and Hooch. Yeah. So my number 2, like I said, he's my favorite composer. Specifically, the Imperial March, when Darth Vader comes in, and I'm going to use my French words here, kicks ass. Star Wars: A New Hope, the original soundtrack. And if you had that on 8-track, buddy, that's worth some dollars.
Yes, it is. And what's interesting is going to be what we have as number 1. And yes, it is, man. And that is absolutely awesome because, guys, believe me, we don't go back and forth with our list. Believe me, trust me, we don't go back and forth with our list. That's why Joe looks at me with the prayer hands like, God be with you, or I'm praying for you. Or it's like, oh, wow, both Joe and I come up with the same thing. And we have 5, 6, 7 years difference between us. So,
right.
it's great. And I had it on vinyl. My dad had it on vinyl, and there is not. And once again, thumbs up, John Williams, for everything that you do.
Mm-hmm.
As in Neil Young, this bud or this note's for you.
Right. You had Star Wars number 2?
Number 2, yes.
Okay, so we have the same number 1.
We do. And I think I can say Charles.
I can say Clarence Williams III.
Yes, you can, man. And I can say Vanity.
That was Apollonia.
Apollonia, Vanity, man. One of them are dead. And I'm going to get in trouble for that.
Vanity is dead, yeah.
But
Apollonia is a pastor.
Yeah, there was nothing absolutely like the soundtrack from
the Lake Minnetonka.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
Take me with you. Do you have a computer that's blue?
That's the blue screen of death. Yes, of course.
Do you have a tub where you have flowers leading up to it?
Not really.
Do you have a thing written for your funeral where it says "Dearly Beloved"?
We're gathered here today to get through this thing called life. Yes.
Yes, Lisa.
The water's warm, Lisa.
Do you have a friend named Nikki?
Yes, I do.
Did you ever know a girl named Nikki?
Yes, I do.
Have you ever been into a hotel lobby?
With Nikki? No, I have not.
Have you ever had a magazine? We're gonna stop. We're gonna stop there. Both Joe and I have Prince, Purple Rain, and I almost want to go out and get some Scrubs so I can play the
Dr. Z, baby. Dr. Z on the synthesizer.
Man,
right?
what that is totally awesome with Purple Rain, Prince, and I'm assuming at that point in time is the Revolution.
Can you name everybody in the Revolution?
Dude, no.
I don't remember well, I don't remember the drummer's name, but it's Dr. Z on the synthesizer, Wendy, Lisa on the synthesizer, Wendy on guitar, Brown Marcus the bassist, and Purple Rain with Prince. But here's the thing. I love Purple Rain, but if I would ever remaster it, which I would love to see happen, but Warner Brothers isn't, I'm going to come out and say it. Warner Brothers isn't that smart. You know, they're putting out all these stuff from Prince's vault, and it's good, it's not great. And I'm not dropping $100 on these records that they're putting out because they're good, they're not great. What they should do, which they won't do, is they should remaster Purple Rain. And I finally found it on Blu-ray, and they've got all the videos at the end of the movie. They should remaster Purple Rain and put it into 2 records where it's print, and the Purple Rain, or what Warner Brothers did with Purple Rain, they released all the unreleased tracks, and it was good, it wasn't great. What they should have done is they should have released a 2-album set with all the Prince stuff on one side on colored vinyl, and then the second album, all the Time songs on colored vinyl from Ice Cream Castles. And that's what they should have done, but they didn't. So that's my opinion.
It's all just a bunch of jungle love, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
EO.
Nice Ice Cream Castles in the summertime, correct. Yes. Because I loved the Time as a kid. Loved the Time as a kid. I love Prince too, don't get me wrong. But I was the Time guy.
What was the lead singer of the Time?
Morris Day. He's got a book out. It's interesting.
Joe, you have something. So that's our top 10, the Billy and Joe top 10 show of soundtracks. It almost thinks like sounds like we were talking about Prince for the whole time, or John Williams, or Harrison Ford, or but Joe, you had someone who passed this past week that you would like to talk about, especially I think during your comedic career, or let us know a little bit about this person who passed away.
At my old office space, she was my manager for, I don't know, 8 years. Her name was Linda Graves. She was the worst driver of all time. The worst driver of all time. But I will give her credit. When she was my manager, okay, she was so dedicated to her job. She would drive every day, and this was before working at home. She would drive every day, no matter what the weather, Bloomington to Indianapolis and back every day.
On 37.
Right. Which, so, that alone's nuts. So I really got to, I knew her pretty well through work, but I really got to know her after she retired. So, yeah, she passed away this last week. She was an incredible nurse. The thing I forgot to put on Facebook, she was an incredible nurse for decades. And her big experience in nursing is she got to be part of the, Veterans Affairs nurses in Alaska.
Oh, wow.
And so she was a great person, great friend to everybody. Her big, what I would do, she would look through my record collection at my place And she loved Chuck Berry. And but the craziest thing is I would also take her to church on Wednesday nights. And I played the song Precious Lord by Aretha Franklin for her, and in the middle of that song it's got You've Got a Friend by Carly Simon in it. And that song it blew her mind.
And
so
and the thing that really sucks is that it's going to be a Zoom remembrance.
Yeah, so I'm like, but wait, what you gonna do? So and she was in her upper 60s, but and she was in hospice, so that was a tough way to go. But she loved nursing, she loved her job, she loved people, loved music, and really loved her dogs. So yeah, Linda Graves is really going to be missed.
You've lost quite a few people this year.
Yes, I have. Starting with my grandmother in February.
Yep. Yep. Like I said, it's unfortunate that people get old and people die or get forgotten, and this is why we do what we do.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
You have some kind of recording or some kind of history with, what has happened with people's lives or what is going on. So that's why we have Joe Carney from Indy's Local Flavor. And of course, my name is Billy, and we have the Keeping the Nostalgia Live.podbean.com, and also the Keeping the Nostalgia Live show on YouTube. You go to Billy and Joe Top 10 show on Facebook. Subscribe, follow, whatever it is today. But Joe Carney, what else we got? What else you got coming up on the
podcast last week? We talked about the Carson Wentz scenario. We talked about the Colts. They lost an offensive guard this week, 5 to 12 weeks. And I have my Colts schedule in front of me, and I originally had them doing 11-5, and that's changed massively. So they're gonna be lucky to be 500.
Exactly.
So which is but so we're going to be talking football. I'm definitely going to be hyping up the new Netflix documentary, The Malice at the Palace, here on Tuesday on Netflix. And we're going to discuss our favorite cartoon characters of all time. So we're looking forward to that. Mine. Have you ever seen, do you know who Tex Avery is?
Yeah, I sure do.
Have you ever seen Screwy Squirrel?
Yep.
Love the original Screwy Squirrel. The remake is garbage, but the original Screwy Squirrel is funny stuff. So yeah. So
Google in iTunes or on your favorite podcast platform, Indy's Local Flavor with Joe Carney. Joe, thank you once again. People, go to Keep the Nostalgia Alive show on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Joe Carney, it's a pleasure, and I look forward to next week.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So let's go Beasties.